Welcome to another DGC session. Today we'll be talking about tech and gaming opportunities for women in Saudi and the Middle East. I'm Sada Hamedi, the digital editor of Cosmopolitan Middle East, and today we'll be joined by Josephine Moss from UN Women's Regional Office of the Arab State and Nicole Markazi, the head of customer success in Nokia for the region. So, Nicole, tell us a bit about the partnership in KSA to increase the number of women employees in the company.
This is indeed a very exciting journey. So we have started in March this year a collaboration with United Nations Women and Nokia, where we are focusing on strengthening our efforts to have a greater impact on female and women and gender parity in the technology sector, in decision-making positions, and also in communities. So we have set up pilots in Middle East and Africa to get the proof of concept for our collaboration. And one of them is in Saudi, in KSA, where we as a company want to increase the number of females and at the same time also share whatever our findings are, what we have done with other corporates and also with the industry. So the pilot in KSA has had the focus on two aspects. First of all, internally, because we wanted to understand how we can further strengthen our efforts in the areas of recruitment, onboarding, and career development processes. And here we are also using and getting the guidance from United Nations with regards to the UN Women Empowerment Principles, which we are also signed in March. And then the second aspect is externally to see how can we understand better the aspiration and challenges from females in Saudi to come into the industry. So these are the two aspects.
That's amazing. My next question is towards Josephine. When it comes to the wider MENA region, why are women underrepresented in STEM-related roles?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and I think it's possibly due to a number of factors. We know actually that in the Arab states region, and particularly in Saudi Arabia, women are graduating from STEM sector qualifications at tertiary level at an increasing rate. In fact, now in the public university system in Saudi Arabia, women are even outpacing male graduates in computer science degrees, for example. So we know that there is a real wealth of talent, female talent and female expertise there. Now, the question is, why is that not being translated then into careers, into professional application of this knowledge and talent that these women have acquired? And this is one of the answers that we are trying to develop in this partnership with Nokia to understand better what the situation is, particularly relating to Saudi Arabia, as this is a huge potential for women to apply their skills in a career that they are obviously passionate about the subject for. So we really would like to know what can be done at a policy level in order to facilitate more women taking up a career in the STEM and tech sector. Now, if you look at the regional of the Arab states region more broadly, there are issues related to accessibility to the internet. Some women in other countries in the region find it very difficult to access the online sphere due to connectivity challenges. And then one challenge that we have noticed increasingly during this COVID era is that, as we all know, at times the online space can be very hostile, and that there appears to be a particular level of online hostility and abuse directed towards women users. And that may be turning women away from pursuing this as a career.
I completely agree with hostility online. That 100% makes sense. And Nicole, so what has Nokia learned about having gender inclusive policies in its global operations?
Yeah, so we are in Nokia fully aware that we need to have teams that are diverse and teams that are made of women. Because we believe that we are able to build better products for all, not just for some when we listen to all voices and avoid the group thinking. So that is definitely something what we have to take, where we have done a lot and where we want to also take further steps. So to reach this, we strongly invest. We had done it in the past, and we are still continuing this journey because we are not yet there where we want to be, but we are doing at least some progress. So we are investing in female leadership and talent pipelines. We are looking into equal pay and gender pay parity. We are looking into an inclusive culture and also sexual harassment policies. And as a last point, also the branding, so that we are also giving the messages out that females and technology is actually it's together. So it's one message. But what we have learned is also, I think, and that is really important, is that it's a two-sided story. On the one hand side, as a corporate company, we have to set up an environment and we have to set up policies, etc., so that females are coming to the tech sector and they feel confident working in the tech sector. The other side is that females also have to step up. They have to raise their voice towards technology and not say this is not anymore something which we are not involved. It also, everything with technology is our life in our days. So to have a technology which is balanced and which looks into both genders, but also for all diverse groups, we need to have more diverse people in the technology development. And that is something where we need to look further into it and make it much stronger.
And how has Nokia benefited from having more women on board?
So I think it's actually very easy to answer, the business impact, because it's not anymore a secret that having more females in the company, also in leadership positions, helps the business to grow. So we have researchers from McKinsey, etc., which really show in a very concrete way that the companies who have more diversity, who have more females in their company, especially in leadership positions, they show better performances. And not only this, they can also tackle in a much better way challenges we are facing at the moment globally with the climate, with all these issues which are coming up. So I think that is definitely one of the biggest impacts. But at the same time, we also want to look, and that is also one insight where we are benefiting in Nokia, is that if we look into females being in leadership positions, we have different leadership styles. It doesn't mean that men doesn't have those, but there is a much more integrated appliance of inspiration and direction and motivation, for example, or participative decision making, people development, and also role modeling in the leadership. So these are things which are definitely benefiting the culture in the company, the business, and also tackling global challenges, as said before.
So now I have a question towards the both of you. What challenges do women face in Saudi when it comes to finding work in the tech and gaming sector, and how will this scheme address this?
Okay, so as maybe I start, Josephine, and then you can please just comment. So as Josephine said before, so the digital inclusion plays a big role. And so for us in Nokia, digital inclusion means everyone has access to high-speed broadband internet services and devices, and also understands the benefits of using the internet and online services. It also means having the skills to use the internet and to stay also secure and protected, as Josephine just mentioned before. So Nokia is providing for all access technologies covering the entire network, helping our customers to bridge this digital divide by enabling the building of the required infrastructure. But even more, we go and we are working with governments and other partners to ensure digital skills go hand in hand with digital access. And security for sure plays here an essential role. And we have a major focus in Nokia to make the digital environment secure and safe. So I believe that is definitely one important point.
If I might just add on that some broader context, we know that getting more women into the workforce, the paid workforce in Saudi Arabia, is a national development priority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because we know the studies, the research tells us, the evidence all points to the fact that having more women at all levels of the private sector, including right up to the C-suite and the highest levels, is good for the bottom line of the business. And we're very proud that at UN Women that we are able to partner with Nokia on an initiative that will actually prove this concept is in fact the right strategic approach to take. That by having more women in your company, whatever sector you're working in, you are much able to understand the needs of 50% of the population and hence 50% of your potential client and partnership base. With Nokia, we are working to support them to implement the Women's Empowerment Principles, which is really basically a blueprint, a set of 7 key principles that guides the business sector on how they can take these steps forward to make their company more accessible, to have more women working for them, to become a more attractive environment to top quality women candidates.
Now, before I get to the women's empowerment principles, I just want to look at the wider region, and I'd like to know, how do we work towards ensuring more female leaders in companies across MENA, particularly in the tech sector?
Well, if I might just start here, I think what we're trying to do with Nokia as well is also to demonstrate, to provide a role model for other companies in the region, to show these are the straightforward steps that can be taken. This will be the result that comes from adopting this approach, and this is the benefits. The private sector is well known for being quite straightforward in its approach. If it's good for the company, if it's good for the stakeholders of the company, then I believe that they will want to take this on more and more. In fact, I'm really happy to say that here in the Arab States region, the rate of private sector entities that are committing to these principles is increasing at around 25% per year since 2018. So we are seeing that all sectors in this region are very interested in hiring more women. Perhaps it's just a matter of working out exactly how to make themselves known as a working environment that welcomes female talent. And this is where the Women's Empowerment Principles and the model that we are developing with Nokia Saudi Arabia can really come in useful.
So tell us more about the Women's Empowerment Principles. What do they set out to achieve, and how have you implemented them?
Thank you. So the Women's Empowerment Principles were designed by UN Women and the UN Global Compact. It's a very straightforward set of guidelines around 7 principles. Those are leadership, equality, safety, learning, markets, community, and transparency. It's a very straightforward tool by which companies at all levels, from the smallest micro enterprise, entrepreneurship startup, all the way to a global household brand multinational such as Nokia, are able to understand better how their company operates in terms of providing existing opportunities to women employees at all levels, where the gaps are, and how they can improve their performance in that regard. Happily, at the moment in our Arab States region, we have around 350 companies that have committed to this. We have 21 multinational companies inside Saudi Arabia alone that have committed, and that number is growing all the time. It's a very user-friendly process. There is a gaps analysis whereby the company can do an internal assessment to look at its own policies and procedures, its own mechanisms in place, and decide which of these 7 principles are going to be the priority focus for that company to achieve its own goals in terms of recruiting and retaining more women. The nice thing about the Women's Empowerment Principles, in my opinion, is that by making this change inside the company itself, it's actually creating an impact for the broader community as well. Because you're demonstrating to your customers, to your suppliers, to your partners, that the company values women and that this is the standard that this company wants to see across its network. So there can be a flow-on effect there that actually improves the understanding of women's rights and perspectives and their contributions to the broader national public life and national development.
And Nicole, what else is Nokia doing to bring more women into the company?
Mm-hmm. So one of the programs we have set up, and it's also supported by United Nations Women, is that we have actually developed quite a unique talent program approach. And this program is different because we are not anymore, as most of the talent programs are built, we are not focusing on developing actually the skills of women to be leaders. In this program, we believe that females already have their natural female leadership behavior, which we need to bring into a balanced approach into the companies. So what we are doing here is we put our talents from Nokia together with talents coming from our customers. So we bring in talents from the customer in, and we also bring from the government. So that was a pilot in Saudi, which we actually did, and where we also brought in female talents from the government, and we created a diverse team who had to look into a business opportunity for the future, so a 5G IoT business opportunity. And with that, we wanted to bring a kind of approach, again, coming back to the business, to show the business impact if we bring females together and if we let them create with their own innovative thoughts, with their own creativity, new solutions, technology solutions for the world, and especially for females, what impact it will have. So it is a program which we call we create technology by women for women, and that was exactly what we have done. And we had quite a successful outcome of the program. We in October we closed it with the presentations of those 5G Internet of Things opportunities to the ministry, to our customer, and also to Nokia executives. And it was a proof of concept, a successful proof of concept, and we will now apply this program worldwide to show and to bring those talents cross-functional, cross-country, cross-customer together, so that we can really show the business impact of such kind of leadership approach.
The partnership also involves an outreach element to female students across the country. Could you tell us a bit about this element of the partnership?
Sure. And it's really a very interesting one, because the statistics are showing us that we have actually in the kingdom, we have an increase of female students in technology subjects, in the STEM subjects. So the numbers are increasing really quite significantly. At the same time, they are not coming into the tech sector. So we are not seeing an equally increasing number of employees, female employees in the corporate, in the tech sector in general. So we want to understand that, because at this point of time, we don't have the answer why this phenomenon is there. So what we have done here is that we have reached out to universities in the kingdom to cooperate with us in this research project. And we have developed a survey where we want to understand the aspirations, the motivations, the challenges female students see for their future and for their future career in a corporate world, in the tech sector in general. So together with UN Women, we have developed this the survey, and we want now to go and we want to understand, we want to execute those surveys. And then we get the data. We will even here work together with the universities and the data analyzers, and hopefully it will bring us the insights and findings to put then the right action plans, the right initiatives and plans, so that we can attract more females to the tech sector in the future.
You guys are doing a lot of great work.
It's very exciting.
So sometimes I'm like, your answers are.
Sorry, can I just add to that I think a lot of the women and young men who are watching this, would be interested to hear about what Nokia is doing in this regard, because we know that Saudi Arabia has such a vibrant gaming culture. Yeah. We know that it has actually a relatively large number of women who are very heavily involved in the gaming culture, either as recreational users or even as entrepreneurs. And they have such a passion for this area that it's really exciting to see that a tech company such as Nokia, these are the women that they are trying to reach out to, women who have a natural inclination, who have the skills and capacity, and who are passionate about this role and how to make the online sphere more equitable and more accessible and more effective for all of us. So I think that part of what Nokia is trying to do in terms of reaching out to young people, it's very much reaching directly to people and letting them know this is an opportunity that you could pursue your passion at Nokia.
I completely agree with Saudi being really, really the hub of gaming for females. Even from our side, when we're really looking into girl gamers or gamers who are really like blowing up and that we'd love to cover, we'd love to give them that attention. They're all Saudi women, and it's just amazing. And sometimes when we see that they're under different alias names even, it's sort of shocking that these could be some of the best players in the country, but they have to sort of hide the fact that they are female.
And if I could just take you then to some of the findings from this survey that UN Women has recently conducted in the Arab States region, because I think it's very much related to this point about having to hide one's identity online, This survey, it was launched on the 25th of November this year, and you can find the details of it on our website, UN Women for the Regional Office for the Arab States. We have all the details up there. But it's very concerning because a large number of women, almost 50% of women who responded to the survey, said that they do fear online abuse and even forms of online violence. And a significant number of women, let me just check, have actually experienced online violence in the last 12 months. And that in a number of cases, that violence actually even, so of the women who had received, who had experienced violence during the pandemic, 60% said they had been exposed to violence during the past year online. 60% of the women who responded, it's a huge number.
Yeah.
And this, of course, poses a really significant threat to not only their physical well-being, but their mental, their emotional well-being as well. And it can actually stifle women's participation in the online sector. I mean, as Nicole mentioned, the online world is our world now. Everywhere we are moving towards online work, online education, online socialization, e-commerce, e-governance. Everything is online. That space must be safe and respectful for everybody. And absolutely that includes all women and girls. So the fact that we are getting responses saying that such a large number of women in this region have been experiencing the different kinds of abuse, including, sending unwanted and inappropriate images, making annoying phone calls, trying to communicate with them when it's unwelcome, receiving messages that are insulting or hateful. I mean, these are things that are very, it's very much dampening to women's participation in this vital public sphere. So the more that can be done to send the message that women do have an equal leadership role in the tech sector, in the online world, the better for everybody to make that experience and to make that access to participation much more real for us all.
And so what are the measures that can be taken to improve online safety for women?
I mean, obviously, this is something that is being grappled with by providers, service providers, and by regulators around the world. But absolutely, the first port of call has to be that there is a clear message sent by service providers and regulators that this is not tolerated, and that well-founded complaints must be able to be submitted, and there must be a system, a mechanism put in place to address those and to, as far as possible, address the perpetrators of these offences. But as a very important first step, because of course we know that regulation takes time. Hand in hand with that has to go behavioral change. And behavioral change is prompted in very much large part by seeing role models speak against such forms of online abuse and speak in favor of and champion the role of women in the tech sector, demonstrating that women have a right to be at the online table and that they will be there. And that's where the work that Nokia is doing is so important, because it's sending a big signal that Nokia is committed to getting more women into the tech sector, because that's where women belong. So it's very important. We're very proud of the work that is being done with Nokia in this regard, and we think that this is contributing to a healthier and a safer online space for everybody.
Well, that was actually my last question, but I'm so glad we got to talk upon the topic of gaming especially and how it sort of affects women. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. I am so very impressed by the work that you're doing. And I mean, thank you for all the work that you do. So I very, very much appreciate it.